Hello, Fallen Dragonite here again. Been a very long time since I've done a Let's Painting video, but then again it's been a long time since I've done pretty much any video, since most of my videos up until now have been mostly gaming. And of course I've just haven't been getting around to doing my usual video setup, but today we're going to be doing a Let's Paint video. And today's video is going to be a little special one. This one is my custom boss Haachama. Yeah, we're doing a Hololive character now. This is, of course, a succubus character that I got from Midnight Heroes from their super chibi subscription service. As you can see, I sculpted some feather details on the back of the wings, made the hair longer, gave her her pigtails, and changed the bangs a bit, but other than that, it's pretty much the exact same figure. Now then, you can tell I've painted it in this black primer, this surface primer. This is technically supposed to be used in airbrushes, but I've been using it as a brush-on primer for this colder weather because, well, I usually use aerosol primers and sealants in winter, but it's just way too cold to use them right now, so anyway, I'm getting an airbrush to fix that little problem, so hopefully I'll be able to do more hobbies during the holiday season. Now then, this is what I would refer to as an adventurer mini. Why do I refer to that? Because a lot of Hololive minis I've made are the Among Us style minis, which, Iris! Yeah, these are just fairly generic Among Us figurines I found online that I've 3D printed. I 3D print a lot of these, but an adventure mini is more like a standard chibi miniature you'd use for the tabletop. This is a Sauna, which is another VTuber, not associated with Hololive as far as anyone knows. So, after getting that explanation out of the way, we're going to start painting her. Now then, the black is good for like the horns and the costume, but it's not good for like hair and skin because blonde hair is not gonna show up too well on a black background, and same with the pale skin tone. So we're gonna use a bit of titanium white and just go over the skin and hair to give us a nice base to start working on getting those lighter colors on. I don't want to touch those horns. I want to keep them in that glossy black. But I do want to make sure that all of that hair and skin are in white so we have a good foundation for all the other colors we're going to be working on. Once we get that all covered up, I'll go on to the next step. Okay, as you can see, we got a nice white base on the hair and the areas of the skin we're going to be painting. Armor I'm not too worried about. I noticed this has gotten too old, so in between cuts I had to get a new bottle. And that is, of course, the color we are going to start painting next. All of Haachama's hair. So, dab it around like so. It's gonna take a few coats because yellow paints don't cover in the first coat. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 coats before it fully coats anything, but it's a lot easier with white than it is with black because white it just takes like 2 coats, whereas if we were doing it on black, it's going to take like 4 or 5 coats just to even get a decent covering. So once we're done with her hair, we'll go to the next step. Okay, now that we've got all of her hair painted all the way around, we're going to start with her skin. Just a simple peach. And as these are smaller areas, not the wide areas we've been working on so far, we're going to be using a smaller detail brush. So just get a little on there and just carefully paint in those little details. It's going to take a while because we have to make sure that we don't overlap her hair. So basically we're going to be doing the midriff, the thigh here, the head, the upper arms, and of course this little area right here. So once we get all of her skin painted, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now we got her skin painted, and I also used a little bit of pink to highlight her mouth. I'm not sure how well that comes out on the camera, but now we're going to go to do pavement, which is a color I use often instead of black on costume parts and other details like that, because I don't often use straight up black on models. Sometimes for horns like this, other times for mechanical details like on Mecha and whatnot, but for the most part, in order for a nice contrast between skin, hair, and other details, I use more of the pavement, which is a little bit lighter than black, but it's fairly dark still, that it almost comes off as kind of a black. So we're going to paint her wings. We're going to paint some of the details of her armor, like right here. Just highlighting some of the areas I'm painting. And of course her gauntlets and her shoulder pads and the collar up here, which is coming right up to her chin. So once we're done with that, we'll go on to the next step. Okay, got all that pavement gray on. You kind of see that we're starting to get somewhere with the paint scheme. Oh wait, I gotta get her back on the camera there. You can also see I added some of the black hearts in her hair. You can also see the contrast between the very dark gray on the wings and the straight up gloss black on her horns. I also trimmed her eyes for the eyelashes so that we can start working on the eye soon. Anyway, next we're going to take some Cardinal Red. Let's open this up. We're going to take this color and do some of the little details of work, like the extra hearts in the hair, but we're also going to be painting her skirt as well in that Cardinal Red. So it's got to be a little careful. Cardinal Red's going to come out very dark on the black primer, which is kind of what we're trying to go for here. So once I get the red on her, we'll go to the next step. Okay, got that red on there. Finished up all the detailing in her hair. Even added that little section I forgot about. Yeah, it's really starting to look like Haachama now. Now we are going to take some silver and some gold and do a little bit of detail work. Basically, I'm going to take some gold and trim the outside of her wings and trim some of the costume details, and then use a base coat of silver on some of the gemstone details. So we just want to carefully paint some gold detail. It's all just going to be trim on a lot of the areas on her chest, her hips, her leg, the collar, the wings, and of course we're going to pick out gold on that whip she has. So once we're done with that, we'll get on to the next step. Okay, got all that gold detail and all that metallic silver on there. You may notice I also put metallic silver in Haachama's eyes. Now then, you're probably wondering why gray instead of blue. Well, that's where this comes in. This is a glaze which gives metallic detailing kind of a gemstone look to them. So if I carefully put it on those metallic sections, gives it a glossy blue, which I'm also going to be doing here and here as well. So I'll also be taking some earth shade and shading in this section right here on our whip just to give the details a bit more extra clarity. Now then, once the glaze dries, I'm going to carefully put in a little black dot in the center for the pupil and 2 white dots on each side to finish up the eye. As you can see, I already repainted the base to cover up all of the details that basically all the excess paint that was put on the base when I was painting the detail. So once we're done with that, we should have a final result. And we are finished. As you can see, her eyes are nicely painted in. We got the blue details on those gemstones. So Bosch Haachama is ready for the tabletop. But she can't be alone. So let's take a look at some of the other Hololive miniatures just to get some sense of scale and whatnot. And the first one I'll bring out is the first one I ever made, and that's, of course, Cali. This was actually done with a vampiress from Capsule Chibi, 3D printed, altered the bangs, added the veil, the crown, lengthened the hair, changed a few of the details, gave her bigger boobas, and altered the scythe to the best of my abilities to try to get as much of the scythe detail as possible on that one. Next, let's look at this one. This one I haven't painted yet. It's just only been primed. This one is supposed to be Botan. Gave her a giant cannon. Hasn't been painted yet. I'm going to get around to that soon, but it's not the only thing for Botan. I also have this. Yes, I gave her a giant mech, and this is going to be the biggest Hololive mech the biggest Hololive miniature so far. This was a miniature from Midnight Heroes. This was not part of their subscription service. I had to buy that separately. And another Midnight Heroes mecha. We got a little mecha for Iris. You see it has all those white and black details with a little bit of I believe that's maroon, I believe that's the color. With, of course, the different colored wings. And, of course, I also have a unpainted pilot miniature for her. This is another Capsule Chibi 3D print. I added the horns, altered the bangs. Oh, right. Hang on. Okay, sorry about that. Kind of the problem with these things is that trying to do this behind camera, you occasionally drop stuff. As you can see, I also have her hair changed as well to make sure that she has that flowing hair that she has. We'll put that next to her BT unit. Another mecha. This is, of course, another one from Midnight Heroes from their subscription service. It may be hard to tell who this is for, so let me bring out the pilot miniature. And that's Subaru. This is, of course, a Commander Shepard miniature from Capsule Chibi, 3D printed. I just altered the hair. Added some details for that Omni tool. It's hard to tell. I'm not sure if it shows up on camera, but she actually does have this little gold badge on her chest for the Orzo Police. And then of course we see the detail right there on the chest, which is supposed to be her stopwatch. So we're just going to put that right over there. Next, let's see. How about Ayane? She also has a mech, which is also another Midnight Heroes one. To be honest, Botan, the only thing I did here was alter the head. All the other ones I did no alterations. It's all just paint work. Of course, she also has a pilot. Yeah. Try to get her original costume as close as I can with this. This is from, let's see, I believe it's Super Dungeon Explorer from their Devil's Island box. So we'll just put her right over here. Let's see, what's next? How about Gagura? Yeah, you can probably already tell this was originally a Megamine figure. I added the fins to her hat, turned the staff into a trident, altered the hair a little, and added the tail. So let's put her right over here. How about Suichi? This was a Halloween miniature, which I also got from Capsule Chibi, which was 3D printed. Added the extra hair, added the hat, added some extra details. The bow was actually originally a hair bow, but I cut it off and put it on the back. And the rest is all painted detail. You can even see I added all the lines to her hat. Let's put her right over there. And I'm going to bring out these two. Mume and Kiara. These were both different sculpts of the same character. These were originally Amber from Geisha Impact. This was the version with the bow. This was just the standing version. As you can see, I did a lot of modification. I took the bow for Amber and just turned it into Mume's hair feathers. I gave her a pseudo ponytail to cover some of the modifications I did to the back. Added the cape. For most part, I didn't do much else. Put Mume over. Let's see, I'll just keep her on camera. As for Kiara, she had a lot more modifications. Changed the bangs, changed the hair just a little bit, added the hat, well, 2 hats, the bow, and I had some extra sculpty, so I added the KFP bucket. I also had to sculpt in a new leg because the leg didn't 3D print properly. Oh no. Let's put her next to Calliope there. Next up would be Fauna. As you can see, I made her into a centaur because this was a centaur miniature. Felt it would fit for her for aesthetics. As you can see, I painted in all those little flowers in her hair. Staff isn't exactly something she had, but I think that actually works well with the character. Now then, this one was recent. I just finished painting this a few days ago, and this is, of course, Flare. This was actually from Hyper Minis. This was originally a sculpt of Yuna of the Hair from Inuyasha. I changed the comb into a fan. I changed the hair, added the ponytail. Had some extra sculpty left, so I added the fire effect. Add a few more details to the costume. The rest is all paintwork. Even the back had new details sculpted in, trying to get accuracy as much as possible for that. Another one, this is Sauna. This was, of course, a Sailor Moon. The pigtails didn't print properly, but that was okay because I had to resculpt the pigtails anyway to get Sauna's details. I also had to give her bigger boobas. But other than that, and also had to change the bangs. But other than that, not much else was changed from the original when I 3D printed this. Put her over there. Next up, Nene, which is a Selkie. Yeah, the Nene seal meme. This is actually just a standard Selkie from Capsule Chibi, and all I had to do was just sculpt in the pigtails. That was it. Other than that, no alterations whatsoever. Let's see. Oh, also sculpted friend. This was completely hand sculpted. Nothing but epoxy sculpt. And let's see. We'll put friend right next to Mume. And here's Ollie. This is a hacker mini from Ignition Core. Of course, I resculpted the gun to look more like something from Apex Legends. I carved in details into the skin in order to look like her stitches. Added the sword. I had to drill a hole right through the head of the mini. Added new bangs. Added the bow to the back of her head. Added some bandages to her leg. And all in all, it's a really nice one. And how about we take a look at Chloe? Yeah, I did one of the more recent group. This was a dark elf assassin. I just chopped off some of the back of the head to make it look more like a hoodie. Added the bows on both sides. Changed some of the torso a bit to match her details. And that's just been painted up to look just like her. I almost wanted to do the mask, but I wasn't sure if I could get the mask in at this detail. Now then, we are going to take a look at... Here's Babe. This was a sculpt from Celica Miniatures. This was originally Cultist Chan, who is a well-known Warhammer 40k meme character. What I did here was resculpt the bangs, added the ponytails, added the ears, added the tail, and the rest is all just paintwork. The staff for the banner was broken when it printed, but looks fine. Even added the Hololive logo on the banner. Now then, speaking of Warhammer, here is, of course, Pecora. As in her Inquisitor form, this was Burninator Nate from the Siblings of Conflict, which was Kickstarter that Capsule Chibi did. This is actually based off of some fan art that I saw online, and as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to recreate it in miniature form. Added the pigtails, tried my best to sculpt in the carrots. Added her ears, changed the bangs, but other than that, not much else. Next up, another Inquisitor, and that would be Amelia. This one looks the least like the character. I had to alter the bangs, alter all the hair in the back. I had to add a fanny pack to hide some of the cutting I did. But other than that, it is pretty much just Amelia. And next up, we have Ina. This was a sculpt of a Final Fantasy XIV character on Capsule Chibi. I added the ears, changed the bangs, lengthened the hair significantly, but didn't do much else to the costume or whatnot. Even the glasses were from the original sculpt too. And then of course I also have a Taco. This was a figurine I found on Thingiverse. I just shrunk it down to make it mini scale. Unfortunately, shrinking it down meant the stem of the halo broke off, so I had to glue on the halo. And now for the next three are going to be interesting because these are all Celica miniature sculpts that were done exclusively. They're not available anywhere else right now because I am the only one who has the files for them. But these are all 3D printed. We have Marie, Noelle, and Crony. Maybe we should keep Crony away from Haachama. Yeah, these are all 3D printed, no alterations whatsoever. They all just came out just fine, and they're all just hand painted. But there is one final miniature I have to show off. Empress Coco. This was the feline emperor from another of the siblings of conflict from Capsule Chibi. Shrunk it down just a little bit, but maybe I should have left it in its original scale. Resculpted the hair completely, added the horns, added her tail, and even added some detail to the cape so it looks like the tail's coming out from the bottom. We'll just put her right next to Haachama. So yeah, that is every single Hololive miniature I have made or working on right now. What will I be doing next? Well, I do have to finish Botan and Iris's pilot miniatures first. Make sure those are painted up. But after that, I of course have to do Arushina because I have almost all of Gen 3, so I need to finish that set sooner or later. I was looking at a miniature for Fubuki. Not sure if I'm going to actually make that. And I was toying with the idea of Yago. Maybe doing a miniature of Yago. I don't know if I'm actually going to do it or not, and that would just be absolutely crazy if I actually do it, but we'll see. Basically, it all depends on what inspires me, what I see, what I think I can convert, and that's all I really have to say now, so Haachama's finished, and she is in good company. We'll see you guys next video. Bye!